Yo, what is up? Welcome back to Lost Archive Radio. I am your host, Jaden Swanky, and I hope you guys are having an easy breezy day today. It's been a while since we've made an episode for Lost Archive Radio, but it's good to be back making episodes, and we've been making content on the side. So yeah, keep an eye out for the things that we're going to reveal today. We're going to be talking about clothes, we're going to be talking about 2020, reviewing the year so far. But yeah, it's going to be a good episode, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, and welcome back to Lost Archive Radio. 2020, definitely a year to remember. No doubt 2020 has been an emotional roller coaster for most of us. There was some ups, but for a lot of people there's been many downs. And yeah, 2020 didn't start off that great this year. We had mass bushfires in Australia, mainly on the east side of Australia. There was bushfires, natural disasters that were just devastating, killing wildlife, destroying people's homes, and it was probably one of the worst ways to start off this year. And then a month later, we are hit with a global pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, hit. And myself and probably some other people thought it would never hit like Australia, America, or UK, Western countries. You would think that it would never reach those areas. But it pretty much froze the whole world. A lot of countries, pretty much every country went on lockdown and had to self-isolate themselves from their friends and their family. And yeah, it was just a really terrible time because people were fighting over toilet paper. There was like no food on the shelves in the supermarket. We had to wear funny masks. And yeah, people were just dying. And it's just been horrible. It's like a zombie apocalypse or something. But yeah, COVID-19 season has definitely not been the greatest. And I know I'm fortunate to be in Western Australia where things are slowly starting to subside. Restrictions are starting to subside and we can finally see our families, hang out with people in large gatherings, and things are starting to open, like restaurants and all this type of stuff are starting to open again. But I know there's some countries out there, some states who are still on lockdown. I got families who live in Melbourne who are still on lockdown at the moment. And yeah, the restrictions are coming back up again, which is terrible. And so if you're going through any of this stuff, any of this lockdown stuff, here at Lost Archive, we stand with you guys. We're here for you guys. Don't be afraid to message us. Let us know how you're going. And also, don't be afraid to message a friend or a family member. Let them know how you're emotionally going. Because definitely this is a time to stand together and stay strong together. Because that's the only way we can get through this, is if we work together and really stay accountable for each other. And so this also brings to my next point, which is the Black Lives Matter movement that's been happening over the last 2 months in 2020. And this has been happening over just all around the world, and people have been protesting, rioting, but it's mainly been happening in America due to the George Floyd incident, where a man unfortunately passed away because of police brutality. But yeah, it's so crazy to me that we're still dealing with this problem in 2020. Communities like the black community and the indigenous community in Australia are still dealing with discrimination and racism and police brutality. And I think as humans, we should stand together and really stick up for the black community and indigenous community. And so that's why here at Lost Archive, we support you guys. And because Lost Archive is made up of so many different races, so many different cultures, we really want to highlight these people who are struggling at the moment, these people who are dealing with these problems. And so we're going to link down below a donation link, a petition link, and just a few things you guys can learn and research so you can understand more about the Black Lives Matter movement and how you can educate yourself to kind of gain an understanding. Because I think that's the only way we can deal with this problem, is to research and understand, and also to just talk to people, love on people who are struggling. Because if we're just leaving it to the internet, we're not gonna gain deeper understanding on how these people feel. So if you know someone who's dealing with this, don't be afraid to talk to them and just be there for them. Because, yeah, we really need to stand as humans, as a society, to kind of get over this together. Kind of all issues aside of 2020, we want to just encourage you guys to have a good year for the rest of the year. These next 6 months, focus on yourself, love on others, and really look at the positive side. Because definitely 2020 has had some highlights, especially in the creative industries. We've had, artists who've been dropping music, artists who came out of nowhere and dropped an album, and also just a lot of other things that have been happening creatively that I've just been enjoying and love seeing. Like, even though there's been these restrictions, people have been finding a ways around these boundaries and just creating. And so if you're an artist or a creative, I really like to give big props to you guys. Just keep on creating, keep on working on your art, keep on working on your stuff. Because even though there's some boundaries you might face, there's still hope for you guys. And so, yeah, here at Lost Archive, we want to just highlight some of the best things that we've seen so far in 2020, especially in music. Highlight some of the best albums, some of the best singles that we've been listening to over these last few months. Alright, so to do this, we're going to do a little shotgun review, kind of recap of just 2020 and the best music that Lost Archive has been hearing over the last few months. So this is something we like to call best of 2020 so far. Alright, so to start off this year, we had Mac Miller Circles. Obviously, this is a posthumous album because unfortunately Mac Miller passed away back in 2018. And my problem with posthumous albums is sometimes it's not done respectably and some of the songs sound unfinished. But I think Mac Miller's Circles is done really well. Obviously, Mac Miller would have painted a big picture for his producer, would have left a lot of notes on how he wanted the album to sound. And so I think Mac Miller's Circles is done really well. Props to his producer. And yeah, it's just a beautiful album. From there, we have Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats Unlocked. I just love the concept of his album. The way they started it off with kind of like Twitter rants. And they were just arguing with each other how, the project leaked. And they had this short film with animations. And yeah, it was just done really well. It was entertaining. Just the whole concept behind it was just awesome. So yeah, I love that album. Tame Impala, The Slow Rush. Obviously, being from Western Australia myself, it's hard to hate on Tame Impala. But definitely, this is not my favorite Tame Impala album. I still was quite satisfied with the result of the album. But yeah, form your own opinion yourself. From there, we had King Krule with Man Alive. One of my favorite albums so far of this year. So many highlights in this album. I recommend you to go listen to it if you're a King Krule fan. Brent, Faiyaz with, I'm not sure if it's an LP, EP, or a mixtape. Not too sure what it is, but I enjoyed this project quite a bit. It's something that I'd put in the background just to vibe to chill to. So if you want some chilled music, go check that project out. Bad Bunny released a project, which I enjoyed. Lil Uzi Vert came out with Internal Atake. We thought it would never come out, but boys, we finally got it. And we end up getting 2 albums for that. It was a normal edition and a deluxe edition, I guess, but it was pretty much 2 different albums. I no doubt enjoyed the second part more than the first part, but it's all up to your own opinion on how you feel about Eternal Take. And then we had Electronica finally dropping an album. We thought it would never come. We thought he would never drop any more music. I think the last time I've heard something from him was on Chance the Rapper's 3 on How Great Is Our God on that track. But that was the last time I heard from this guy. So it's pretty incredible that we actually get an album from him. And yeah, it's quite a good listen. So yeah, go listen to that if you haven't. Then during COVID season, we had The Weeknd dropped After Hours. And I definitely think this is a consistent album. One of The Weeknd's probably most consistent albums. And yeah, Definitely, there's a mood throughout the whole track list. And yeah, one of his best albums so far. So yeah, The Weeknd, After Hours. And then Childish Gambino dropped his last project, unfortunately. And I'm a big Donald Glover fan. I love Childish Gambino. I've got a poster on the back, so you know I love this guy. Saw him at concert last year. And so this is not my favorite Childish Gambino album. I was hoping for maybe a bit more, but I still love it though. I love Donald Glover either way. I'll always rep this man. I'll always be behind this guy. So yeah, Childish Gambino, 3/15/20. And then after that, we had Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia. I'm not a huge pop fan, not really into pop music. But for a mainstream artist as Dua Lipa is, I think this album was done really well. I think she was very consistent, and just the whole concept of the album is pretty cool. And so if you're into pop music and into that kind of vibe, go listen to that album. Peach Pit, You and Your Friends, another album I enjoyed from this year. Thundercat, It is what it is. Dragon Ball Durag, no doubt one of the top tracks of this year. Hilarious music video. Violent Soho, Everything is A-OK. I loved Violent Soho's previous projects, and I think they continue to set the standard of Australian rock music. Violent Soho's Everything is A-OK is a good album. The Strokes with The New Abnormal, definitely one of my favorite albums so far from this year. And yeah, I just love The Strokes. Been listening to them since I was like quite young, and so yeah, it was good to get The Strokes album. Smino released a mixtape, She Already Decided, with some like crazy remixes, freestyles, whatever you want to call it, to like The Box and like Savage. And yeah, I enjoyed that mixtape and it was quite solid. Charli XCX dropped a album during the COVID season, and yeah, How I'm Feeling Now is such, yeah, a weird depiction of how people deal with this kind of isolation thing. And Charli ended up making a whole album with the videos as well that she filmed in her house, which is pretty cool. I think yeah, it's awesome that she still released during this time. Moses Sumney with Grae, he released this album in pieces, but I think it's a solid like alternative R&B project, and so give that a listen if you're into that kind of music. I was surprised by this, but Young Lean's Starz. I'm not really a big Young Lean's fan. Yeah, I've seen Young Lean live at like a festival, and his music just doesn't click with me. But I thought this project was quite solid. It's obviously not my favorite album of this year, but definitely deserves to be noticed, I guess. The 1975, also another like artist or another band that I don't really listen to or enjoy, but I enjoyed some of the songs on this project. And so if you have never listened to the 1975 before, yeah, go listen to this project. It's definitely better than the rest of their music. Gunna with Wanna, that's another album that I would never thought I'd enjoy. Same with H. Polaris. I enjoyed his song with AJ Tracy, Rain, and it was cool to see Kenny Beats produce some of the songs on this album. And so yeah, there's definitely some standout tracks within this album. And then we have Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist with Alfredo. I've been listening to this project constantly these last few weeks, and I just can't get enough of this album. The Tyler feature and just the other features on this album are great. Alchemist, his producing's done really well. I love Freddie Gibbs when he collabs with other artists like Madlib, and now with Alchemist. And I think, yeah, it's such a good project. We also have Run the Jewels 4. I loved the last 3 Run the Jewels albums, and I think they just continually keep them consistent. And yeah, this album is done really well. Spacey Jane, shout out to Western Australian music. Spacey Jane with their debut album Sunlight. I enjoyed a lot of the tracks on this album. Was never really a huge Spacey Jane fan, but definitely listening to this project has gotten me more into their music. And yeah, saw them live at the start of the year, and definitely they have like a really good stage presence. And so yeah, if you're not from Western Australia or from Australia, I really encourage you to go listen to Spacey Jane if you like indie alternative music. And then also recently we had Cody the Friend dropped his album Everything. I definitely enjoy this album. Slow, lo-fi beats. Definitely an album to put in the background to listen to. And yeah, I just love Cody the Friend, the way he vibes in his music. You know, it's nothing too in-depth, nothing too lyrical, but I guess it's just the positive outlook that Cody the Friend has that I enjoy. And so if you love positive music, love just sitting back, relaxing, listen to this project, Everything by Cody the Friend. Knowledge also dropped a project, 1988. I love Knowledge. He's one of my favorite producers, and his project with Anderson .Paak was one of my favorite projects over the last few years. So if you love just crazy beats, crazy instrumentals, go listen to this album. It's done really well. Black Habit by D Smokes is another album I enjoyed. D Smokes, he won that Netflix rapping show, and his brother is Sir from Top Dog, the record label. And yeah, I think D Smokes is a really good rapper. He holds himself lyrically and also conceptually, and I think, yeah, this is a really solid project. It kind of has some Kendrick Lamar vibes, really holding it down for his city and holding it down for where he's from. And so yeah, go listen to D Smokes if you like Kendrick Lamar and all that kind of type of rap music. Alright, so this is a few shout-outs to some kind of underrated music I think maybe you should listen to. Maybe you've heard it before, or maybe you haven't heard it before, but I think these projects were quite solid for being first debut projects. And this is Kenny Mason's Angelic Hood Rat. I think Kenny Mason is quite unique in the way he delivers. He dips in different genres, rock, rap, just a whole lot of different things that he mixes together. It's just a mixing pot of just different things. And so Kenny Mason, definitely check that guy out. Jamed, the Booth Mobile. This guy is crazy. He's a crazy lyricist. Definitely gives me some Kendrick Lamar feels as well. But yeah, he just goes hard in every song that he does. This is an EP. It's pretty short, but I think just the story and just the journey he takes on only these few tracks, he really does it well. And then we also have AG Club. They've been doing numbers recently, been doing really well for a rap group. They kind of give me some Brockhampton, Odd Future type vibes. Their recent project is quite, slow and mellow. A lot similar to Brockhampton. But if you listen to some of the singles they've released recently, they got some slaps, definitely. So check them out if you haven't. AG Club. There's so many songs like Memphis and Brass that I enjoy. And so, yeah. So go check those guys out. Definitely a group to look out for. But besides that, we've had so many singles as well that's been released over this last few months. We've had, Frank Ocean been dropping singles, Brockhampton, JPEG Mafia, Gorillaz, Tyler's been featuring a few songs, Kid Cudi's been releasing songs. And yeah, there's so many music that's been coming out these last few months, which just has been making 2020 more enjoyable. All the music that I've mentioned over these last few minutes, I definitely encourage you guys to go check them out. I'm gonna put them in the description, all the projects, all the artists I talked about. Yeah, and in the comments down below, definitely let me know what you guys think of these albums, of these projects, and tell me what's your favorite album of this year so far. But besides other people's creative adventures, here at Lost Archive, we have been creating ourselves. We've been creating new clothes, new content, just for you guys. We also even got a new site, so go check out our new site at lostarchiveco.com. And yeah, check out our stuff. If you press here, all the stuff comes up. As you can see, some of the things that we released last year for our Season 1, Volume 1, Lost Archive collection. are all going to be going. So if you want to grab that before it heads off, go check us out at lostarchiveco.com. But obviously, when old things go away, new things must come. And so that's why here at Lost Archive, we've been working on a new collection just for you guys. This is going to be Collection Volume 2. And yeah, I'm really excited to release this this month. But we're going to be releasing a new hoodie to pretty much kickstart this collection. And this is kind of an updated version of one of the hoodies we released last year, which is the VARSITY hoodie. And so this is a new VARSITY hoodie. It's the VARSITY 2020 hoodie right here. I am wearing it right now. The VARSITY 2020 hoodie. It's comfortable, you know. And also, I think it's a good way to recollect and just remember the year that we had. You know, even though we've had many ups and downs through 2020, I think it's going to be a memorable year either way. It's a good way to just remember and overcome the struggles we all went through in 2020. So this hoodie will be available on our store after this video. And yeah, our 2020 hoodie will be available for sale on lostarchiveco.com. So go check that out after this video is finished. And yeah, definitely cop that right now. And now it is time to wrap up this episode of Lost Archive Radio. Thanks for watching episode 5 of Lost Archive Radio. Don't forget to check the links down below for these hoodies are going to be coming out. The 2020 hoodies, the VARSITY ones. That's going to be awesome. So check that out. It's going to be out tonight on lostarchiveco.com. Also, don't forget to check out the music that we talked about in this episode. They're going to be in the description, plus a link to the playlist of some of the songs that we enjoyed from 2020 so far. Also, don't forget to check out the Black Lives Matter links, where we're going to put petition links, donation links, and a few other stuff so you can research and understand where people are coming from. Because I think the best way to understand is to research and really have that conversation with people, because that's the only way we can see from people's eye level. But anyways, thanks for watching episode 5 of Lost Archive Radio. Instagram, Facebook, and everything will be in the description, so check that out as well. I'm your host, Jaden Swanky. It's been good to have you guys watching and listening, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.